Hi everybody and welcome back to the Upside Dan. I have a brand new movie to review for you guys, and that is Spiral from the Book of Saw. First and foremost, I want to thank Lionsgate so much for sending me a screener link for this film. It is just so greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. This is going to be a spoiler-free review. I'm still seeing it in theaters, so I might do a spoiler review. My month of May physical media haul is really the only thing being spoiled here because, as you can see, I got the new Saw 4K unrated steelbook. It's an awesome set and I can't wait to show it off in my May physical media haul video. But is Spiral better than this? And actually, I'm not even asking about the movie. I'm asking, is it better than that steelbook? Let's find out. Working in the shadow of his father, an esteemed police veteran, Detective Ezekiel Banks and his rookie partner take charge of a grisly investigation into murders that are eerily reminiscent of the city's gruesome past. Unwittingly entrapped in a deepening mystery, Zeke finds himself at the center of the killer's morbid game. Spiral is directed by franchise returning Darren Lynn Bousman. Darren Lynn Bousman directed Saw 2, 3, and 4. It is written by Josh Stolberg and Pete Goldfinger. This film stars Chris Rock, Samuel L. Jackson, Max Minghella, and Marisol Nichols. So did it live up to that hype? Did it live up to the trailers? The pretty good trailers? Did it live up to the Saw franchise? Does it live up to that steelbook? Not at the movie, the steelbook. Let's find out now. I was super excited for this movie. The trailers looked good. They really did, and it seemed like it could almost be a Seven-like feature in the Saw universe. I was super excited to finally see the return of, another entry in the Saw franchise. And I was excited, for Chris Rock doing it, because, producing it. I actually thought, until recently, I thought he was actually, more on board, directing, writing. I thought he was doing some of that. I thought he was doing it all, but still, he had the story in mind. He fought for it. I was excited for that because Jordan Peele went from comedy, to horror with Get Out and Us, and those are pretty good movies, especially Get Out. It was interesting, you were like, oh wow, a comedian is going from his forte, comedy, to horror, and then that is kind of what Chris Rock is doing here. So I was definitely interested in it, and then the trailers were good. I actually really liked the trailers. I see where Chris Rock was going with some of the ideas he had for this story. I think the reasoning behind the killer's motives was good. For the most part, I think it could have been executed better. But there was some interesting stuff here that Chris Rock kind of brought up to the forefront to Lionsgate. I thought it was, just, some intriguing stuff that I thought could have been, really great here. I do want to talk, though, my main thing, not my main thing, but, the acting here. Even by Chris Rock, I wanted to really like him, even though I was excited for him helming, this project, starting this project. I was apprehensive about him, as a more serious, as a horror drama actor. He did fine in some scenes, do not get me wrong. He was pretty good here. Some of the comedy landed by him and then other characters, but some of it by anyone, everyone. It didn't land all the time. This comedy did not land all the time. It really just seemed like they added a bit just to add a bit. Let's just add this line. It's random, but let's just add this line, hopefully for a laugh. That's how it felt sometimes, and honestly, there was a lot of yelling. This acting in this movie is a lot of yelling, a lot of, yelling, swearing, a lot of swearing. It just seemed, to be, the anxiety level is here all the time. It's just always there. And you don't get that much downtime. It seemed like it was just going, not from game to game, I don't want to say, because there are games, do not get me wrong, there is the torture stuff, there is the gore, the violence, but it's not the forefront of this movie, which I think, will let a lot of fans down. Because, yes, don't get me wrong, that it is gory when it's gory. The games are okay when they're there. Some of the traps, it just felt, oh, let's just do a trap to do a trap. Get this over with, basically. That's how it felt for me. They really were focused more on the story, which is sometimes it's just fine, do not get me wrong. I didn't think that this story was executed as well. There was something off with the directing and the script. There just was, and they went back to this editing style that from the Saw movies, that quick edit, really quick edit, too much of it. I mean, Jigsaw, that's what I liked about Jigsaw. They didn't really use that, and it really looked slick and clean, and this one does too. This one is a well-produced one, with good cinematography, like look-wise. It had some high production value. A lot of the acting was just off to me, and just too much yelling, too much, like I said, being up here without much downtime. Yeah, I just think that the script and some of the directing is really to blame here. I just wish that this brought something new to the table, but I don't think it did, for the most part, especially cinematography, writing, directing wise. I wish it brought something new to the table. I wish there was more mystery and intrigue, but I had a hunch in the beginning, and I had a few hunches in the beginning, but then there was a scene where I guessed who the killer was. It just, not so much that killer's motives, but I guessed who it was, and I was right. That's what brings this movie down, because with the original Saw, you couldn't guess the twist, for the most part. I don't know how you could have, but the twist was just so iconic. And then even with some of the Saw sequels, you didn't exactly know, what was going on, and then they would have that great score. This one just wasn't it. It just felt, oh, here's the twist. And it was already something you may have guessed. And, oh, here's the twist, let's just go through it. And it just, yeah, that's how it felt for me. Maybe you won't guess who the killer is, I don't know. But there were some aspects that I did like about this movie. I wanted to love it, though, and I just didn't. The voice, okay. The voice of the killer, I didn't love it. I didn't mind it in the trailer. I thought it sounded kind of creepy. I miss, of course, John Kramer. It's not as menacing as him. Tobin Bell is just great, and it's just, it's not as menacing as him. The killer isn't, and either is the voice of the killer and the presence of the killer. It's just not there. It's just that they wanted to do these beats. Oh, it's a Saw movie. We have to get this in. We have to get that in. We have to have a jump scare, which I didn't find many jump scares. There were some predictable ones, and it just wasn't that scary. I did like the opening. I thought it opened pretty well, and then it just, I didn't like the voice. It wasn't menacing. You missed the presence of Tobin Bell. The traps, while there were some new stuff here, I don't know, they just felt uninspired to me. For the most part, I did like these traps. Harkened back to kind of the first one where, they were in these traps for a reason, and not why they were in them, but these traps had to do with them, their flaws. That's what it kind of reminded me of, because in this, the traps have to do with, something they did. The bad thing that they did, their flaws. And I liked that aspect of it. The traps just aren't that much at the forefront. For them to not be at the forefront and you to focus more on story and character, I wish there was more downtime to focus on that story and character. But it was just yelling, swearing, gore, and not that much of it. But when there is gore, it's a lot. But so those are my basic feelings for it. I was disappointed. I was heavily disappointed by this movie. I think that some Saw fans maybe will have fun with it. You can go to the theater. Yeah, I'm still going to the theater. Check it out, though. If you feel comfortable enough and you're just looking for some gore, and you're a fan of Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson, who, by the way, Samuel L. Jackson is not in this that much. He's kind of important to the story in some aspects, but he's just not on the screen that much. He doesn't have much screen time. Anyway, I think that people can find some enjoyment in this, and I'm so thankful again for Lionsgate for sending me this screener. I just wish that the film paid off a lot more. I did like it more than probably 3 or 4 of the sequels at least, but I wanted it to be the best since Saw 1. Oh my god, this was so good. This was 7 in the Saw universe. It just is not that for me. So what would I give Spiral out of 10? This was a hard score to come up with because I wanted to love it. I wanted it to be great. I really did, but it wasn't. I think right now I'm going for a 5.5 out of 10. Spiral gets a 5.5 out of 10 from me. Have you seen Spiral yet? Are you going to theaters to see it? Let me know down in that comment section. What's your favorite film in the Saw franchise? Let me know. Please blow up that comment section with all things Saw, Jigsaw, Spiral, whatever. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you've liked what you've seen here and you want to see some more, click around here to see more. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video with the Saw fans in your life. Hit that notification bell, subscribe, and come to the upside, Dan.